It is RE time with Mr. Thomas.
Hello Year 7 and welcome to your video lesson about the Christian festival of Christmas. Copy down the title please and today's date and then make a guess about the starter question. What has a gherkin got to do with Christmas? Pause the video to write down your answer, then unpause to find out if you were close or maybe right. So now you know. The Christmas pickle is a tradition for some Americans. Apparently it may have come from Germany. A decoration in the shape of a pickle is hidden on the tree somewhere, and the finder will be either given a reward or, it is believed, they may be lucky in the following year. Okay, here are your learning objectives for today. Everybody must know some of the Christian traditions to do with Christmas. Most students should be able to link Christian beliefs about Christmas to traditional activities, and some students could consider if some Christmas activities are more important to Christians than others. On the next few slides, it's important that you take notes about the key information that we study. For example, on this one, you could write down the traditional celebration dates of Christmas and definitely the definition of incarnation, but you do not have to write down everything you see on the screen. Okay, the word Christmas comes from Christ's Mass, the service held in the church to celebrate the incarnation of Jesus. Incarnation means becoming flesh, taking on human form. Christians believe that God became man in the form of Jesus. For most Christians, the festival begins on the 25th of December and lasts for 12 days, ending with the Feast of the Epiphany on the 6th of January. Now, many of you will know some details about the Christmas story, but possibly not everything, and today we're not going to go through it in detail, we're just going to get the basics down. So copy the subheading please, and note down the names of the key characters in the biblical Christmas story. They're in red. As an extension, you could note down why they're important in the story. Okay, Christians believe that about 2,000 years ago, God came to earth in the form of a human being, Jesus. The Bible teaches that this human was born to a virgin girl, Mary, who had been chosen by God. Her fiancé Joseph was also told about the baby coming. It's important to Christians that she was a virgin because it means she had never had sex. Therefore, it was not a normal human baby, it was a miracle birth. The story of Jesus' birth includes him being born in a stable among animals, being sung about by angels, being visited by poor shepherds and rich wise men, and almost being killed by a king. All these aspects of the story are important to Christians and are celebrated through Christmas traditions. For example, the fact that both shepherds and wise men visited Jesus signifies to Christians that the story of Jesus and the beliefs around his birth and his life are for everybody, not just for the rich, not just for the poor, but for everybody. Also, the fact that angels sang songs about Jesus and praised him and sang about how he would save the world, that now links to the fact that Christians sing Christmas carols still 2,000 years later at Christmas time about the same subjects. One way Christians celebrate Christmas is through Advent. Copy down the definition at the top please, then read this explanation. The Christmas season in the church calendar begins 4 Sundays before Christmas Day with Advent. Advent means coming, and it is a time of spiritual preparation for Christians. Many Advent customs involve counting the days down in joyful anticipation of Christmas. One way this happens in churches is by using a wreath and a set of candles. The wreath is usually a circular garland made of evergreen branches. This is a symbol of the eternal nature of God, without beginning or end. On the wreath there are 4 candles with a 5th one in the centre. The first candle is lit on Advent Sunday, and then a new one is lit every Sunday leading up to Christmas. The centre candle is lit on Christmas Day and is a symbol of Jesus, who Christians often call the light of the world. Okay, now go back to Satchel 1 please and click the second video link to open the video called Advent Wreath Chuck Nose Church. Watch it and note down the meanings of the candles that are lit during Advent. If you want, you could draw a basic wreath shape and some candles on it and annotate them in your notes. Okay, now we're going to think about activities that people do at Christmas and whether they have a religious meaning or not. So, firstly, I'd like you to just think to yourself and make a list of any activities that people traditionally do at Christmas. And I want you to jot down as many as you can think of. Okay, I've put a couple of examples there. Send cards, eat turkey. What else can you think of that people do at Christmas? Pause the video here and make a list as long as you can, please. Now, go down your list, please, and highlight anything that you've written down that is a religious activity. So that means it's linked in some way to the Christmas story, or it is specifically about believing in Jesus or believing in God, and that's why people do it. For example, singing Christmas carols that have words about Jesus, that's a religious thing. But eating turkey is not especially religious. Anybody could do that without believing anything about Christianity. Now please open the third video link on Satchel 1. The video is called What is Christmas Like for Christians? I'd like you to note down some more activities that Christians do around Christmas time. And if you can, pause the video as you watch it to note down why Christians do them. Right, Year 7, this is your final task, and this is the task, the written work that we would like you please to send to your teacher on Satchel 1 or to their email address. You can take a photo and send it, or you can attach it as a Word document or something like that. I'd like you to write, please, 2 detailed paragraphs. In your first paragraph, I want you to talk about what you think is most important at Christmas. Is Christmas about spending time with your family, sharing gifts, maybe getting gifts, caring for the poor and needy? Explain your reasons, please. Why do you think what you've chosen is the most important? And I'd like you to mention at least 2 things you think are important, not just 1. You could go further than that. Second paragraph, what do Christians think is most important at Christmas? This is where you're showing off your learning from the lesson, really. In this paragraph, you must mention things you've learnt about in the lesson. For example, Advent, or the story of Jesus' birth. And you must explain why Christians do these things. Again, try to include at least 2 things in your paragraph that Christians think is important at Christmas. Okay, well done, Year 7. Have a go at that and send your work in as soon as you can, please.